Well, hey there. We are jumping right to it today. I am giving you two frameworks to help you bring truth and transparency to conflict resolution. If you have a tendency to get off track when you are talking to a person about an issue, about performance, about behavior, or any issue at all, or if you tend to get nervous when you approach a person about a problem, you are going to love the KFD model. This is a model that I have used myself for nearly 20 years. So KFD stands for know, feel, and do. The way KFD works is before you approach a person or a team about an issue, you sit down and you think through. And I actually write out, or these days I type out answers to the know, feel, do. What is it I want the person to know? When we are done with this conversation, what do I need them to know? How do I want them to feel? And what do I want them to do? One of the first times I used KFD was when I needed to talk to an employee in a call center I was managing about her attendance. The employee was habitually tardy and acted as if it was not a big deal. And so it was a big deal in our call center. Before I talked to her, I remember pulling out my yellow sketch pad and notepad and writing out what I wanted Nicole to know. I wanted her to know that her attendance was unacceptable. I wanted her to know that over the past 3 weeks, she had been tardy 5 times. I had that documented, the days and how tardy she was. I wanted her to know what our expectation was for attendance. I wanted her to know that if this pattern continued, disciplinary action would follow. I wanted her to feel a sense of urgency about turning this around. I actually wanted her to feel that I was disappointed in her because I was. I wanted that disappointment that I felt to spark a sense of urgency in her. I wanted her to feel that I supported her. So that is, I didn't want it to feel punitive. It was punitive, but I didn't want it to feel like a beat up session. What did I want Nicole to do? I wanted her to immediately improve her performance by getting to work on time, meaning I needed to drive that conversation so that I could get a commitment from Nicole. That's how KFD works. You plan before you sit down with a person what you want them to know, how you want them to feel, what you want them to do. By typing this out before you meet with your employee, even if you don't bring these notes to the meeting, just going through the exercise is going to give you focus. Try KFD. I've shared this with hundreds of clients, and I get a lot of feedback that people get the results that I got that very first time, which was a focused, intentional conversation. The second framework I'm giving you today is a framework that is designed to help you deliver bad news or say no. In any way, tell a person what they don't want to hear in a way that is transparent and in a way that will bring down the temperature in a heated interaction. I call the method the 3W. It stands for here's what we know, here's what we've done, and here's what's next. These steps worked in a high conflict, escalated situation with my husband. And if they could work with my husband, they will work for you in interactions with your coworkers, with your employees. My family and I valet parked our rental car with a hotel when we were on vacation. And the next day, when we went to get our rental car, it was wrecked. It was not wrecked when we dropped it off the afternoon before. My husband was off the charts upset. And I watched the young valet, and I say young, he was 22 or 23 years old, bring down the temperature with my husband using the 3W approach. The conversation went something like this. When my husband finally let the young man speak, he explained The accident happened in our parking garage at 7:42 p.m. last night. The driver was in a white Honda Civic. He gave us the license number. He sped off and left the scene. He gave us a little more detail that the person driving the Honda tried to self-park in valet. He was told that he could not park there, got upset, sped off, hit three cars in the process. Our car was one of the cars. Now, at this point, I did not realize the young man was using the 3W approach. What I did notice is my husband at this point was no longer interrupting him over talking the young man. He, like I, was just listening. So the valet went on. We've filed a claim with our loss prevention team. We have two eyewitnesses. We filed a police report with the Austin Police Department. Now, it was at this step that I thought, this is what the young man is doing. He's using the 3W approach. He's told us what he knows. He's explained what he's done. And I just bet the next thing is what's next? And that's exactly what he did. He explained, you also need to file a police report. You need to notify both your insurance company and your rental car company. Your insurance company will go after the driver. This young man stood up to my husband, who was loud, who was demanding a manager, who was not letting the young man initially get a word in edgewise. But this young valet, using the 3W approach, brought the temperature down and guided us to the next steps. That is de-escalation. I want you to try the 3W method. It is a method that you probably have heard before. Politicians use it, law enforcement, presidents of companies use it. Whenever they have to break bad news, people go to this model because what you're doing is being transparent. You are answering questions before people have a chance to ask them, and you are moving the conversation forward. I personally use this method with clients, with customers, with colleagues, and with employees. So try the 3W approach, and I'm sure, I'm absolutely certain it will work for you in guiding the person to the next steps. The 3W method takes some practice when you're going to use it for the first time. So I have a worksheet for you that will walk you through applying a real situation that's coming up on a conversation you need to have, walk you through how to apply the 3W. So be sure to grab that worksheet. There you have it. 2 frameworks to help you bring truth and transparency to conflict resolution.